be muting everyone again, so I'm sorry if you're mid-conversation. So I'll unmute you again at the end. Alexander, back over to you. Remember to get your voice on. There you go.
Yeah, there are such interesting things in the metaverse. For example, you just can disappear and, well, no one is seeing you. You know that from everyday's life where the picture was freezing or no one could hear you. So it's part of our everyday's life. So hi, I'm back. Nice to see you again. It's a short trip around. We were talking about the metaverse and the chances we have there. But what exactly is the metaverse? What exactly are we talking about? In the media, we can hardly get past this new world. It's really nearly everywhere. But what can we read there? We read messages and articles like how to buy land and real estate in the metaverse. Okay, that's what the people out there get to know. They all think, okay, I can buy ones and zeros on a digital land. That's strange. We read stuff about VIPs who are starting to enter the spaces, like Snoop Dogg and his own space and sandbox. And we see something very common for us humans. We have an event in the metaverse, like Samsung had, and the first thing we do is we queue up. We are crowded, we can't move anymore, we can't get in because we started to build a queue, and that's that. Yeah, that's the metaverse the people out there are realizing and recognizing at the moment. But behind the phrase hides much more than the entrance to the world of Meta and Facebook. But what's out there? What they are promising us? And I don't care if it's Meta, I don't care if it's anyone else. What they're promising us is really a chance. And most of you may know this video, but I like to think of it as a chance to get the people coming with us, being the creators of change in the metaverse as well.
Beyond our world, there's another world. And it's right here, on my face. Welcome. This is Horizon. Think of me as your guide / self-appointed spokes avatar, here to show you around. You know, Horizon is filled with possibilities. You can play stuff, make stuff, fly stuff. Whoa! Really love the stash, Stuart.
What up, Stuart?
Wait, I want a mustache. Horizon isn't about rules or limits or pants or people telling you not to fly an airplane while drinking your fresh ground, fair trade, French press morning coffee through a curly straw. Isn't that right, Debbie? Mm-hmm.
Well, the world out there seems like something we could join. But when you look at what's going on, you have to think about how you want to start in this digital world. And we can learn something from a totally different area. We're going to have a closer look today as well. If we want to engage people in the metaverse, in the NFT world, in the Web3, we need to have a look how other people engage stuff as well and how they enjoy it. For example, gaming. I get quickly a little bit nostalgic here, but what we can learn from the gaming area, from Mario, from Pokemon, from everything out there, there is a possibility to get people going, to have them join a movement and be engaged in it very closely. The gaming industry has faced and fascinated people for decades, and the people are living with it. We spend our evenings in front of the console. We come down, we relax. We use games to relieve stress. We come with our friends, with our family. We engage with them over gaming, or even earn our money with it. What's also a wonderful possibility. And no other medium. That's a thing you can use for the metaverse, for the game Web3 as well. Has captivated users of all ages, such as gaming. And I personally think it's quite amazing. I started with the first Pokemon game when I think I was 10. I'm not sure about it anymore. Nowadays, many years later, I still can talk to my nephews about the new generations and they can engage. I'm the cool uncle now. I think that's great. So many years later, there's still this fascination we all can share. And you can also learn a lot from the games industry for finding your own potential in the metaverse. Because you all know the excuses when it's about innovation. We all know, oh no, I don't want to do it. It's too complicated. It does not fit to our industry. I don't know what I really want to do. Those are excuses. We can learn from the gaming industry, from Nintendo, to be honest. Maybe you know, Nintendo, many years ago, started as a company producing card games. But then the world changed. The digital environment came up, and they did not say, no, I don't want to do it. It's not our industry. They saw potential in the arcades. They saw potential to get going and reach new target groups. They were not afraid. They said, I want to join. And that's the thing we should do in the metaverse as well. We should live a little bit like Nintendo and reinvent ourselves every day and day and again and again and again. Nintendo always recognized the potential early. And, well, they reacted accordingly, not always successful, to be honest. If some of you remember the Virtual Boy from, I think, 1996, it was creepy, but it was not very good. But if you look what Nintendo really did is, they always stopped their own products. They replaced their own products and started something new, and the people kept going. I had a Nintendo, I had a Game Boy, now I have a Switch. And I think I will buy the next console as well, because I'm engaged to it. But why does the gaming industry can do that? Other industries, other technologies, like the metaverse, can't. That's a conundrum for me. We can learn a lot from it. From gameplay to marketing, we can learn how to establish the metaverse in a broader world. By showing the people that there's fun in it, to connect with you guys, to connect with each other, to rise and travel around in the world. We can learn how to establish products and processes and innovations in it. And that's a good way to go. But in addition to new products and processes, the upcoming immersion is even changing more. And today we're experiencing it here at the moment and later on with XBeats. There is a new way, a new thought, a shift of interacting with each other. Maybe like you do it with the emojis, made that we can speak to each other just like we do, that we can come together and create something together. It wasn't even possible in social media. We can have a new sort of interaction, and the people will like that. I'm quite sure about that. The metaverse in its purest form is still the translation of our real world into the virtual environment. But that must be communicated. It can't be that the people just imagine, oh, I can buy land. Oh, there was a yacht for many thousands of dollars the people bought. That's not the thing we can get John Doe into the metaverse. We must show them it's not that different from the thing you know, but more immersive, cooler. You have more possibilities. You can have a lot of things to go. We need to get everyone going. The young ones, the old ones, everyone. Therefore, we must have a look to really talk about the metaverse, how it can be defined. And the official definition of the metaverse is quite a mess. Metaverse is massively scaled and I don't read that. Let's break it a little bit down. What we have to show the people to understand what we're experiencing right now is that the world here, or every other world we could visit, is limitless. It's permanent, it's persistent, it's decentralized, it's immersive, it's an economy, and it's an experience. If they understand that, they can come, they can follow. It's more than just ones and zeros. It's more than the thing the nerds just use. It will be an experience, because it is an experience. It's limitless. As in 3D virtual space, the metaverse removes all kinds of barriers, physical otherwise. In art space, we can fly, we can travel, we can visit everyone. We can experience stuff that was never accessible. And all we need is this one we're looking at right now, an avatar, a way to show, express ourselves. Of course, there's a lot of things we need also to communicate. There's still a lot of things people need to understand. But it's a chance. Because the metaverse is also persistent. It cannot be unplugged. It cannot be restarted. It's not resetted. We can create our own worlds. And I don't know if you traveled with the colleagues here in the metaverse, if you had experience of visiting a wonderful chateau or a lodge or an Apple store, we can express ourselves. And that's cool. And it evolves. Decentralized. Like we want it to evolve. Because many of the spaces can be formed in our will. And we talked about it before, it's decentralized. Not at the moment like that, but the dream of the metaverse, and we're talking about the traces of change, the future that's going to come, it is decentralized. There is not one company, one single platform that should own the metaverse, should own everything, but it's yours. It's ours. Of course, the servers are somewhere. Meta has the server, Sandbox has the servers, Decentraland has the servers, but way we communicate in the purest form of Web3 is user generated, is created by you. And that's another thing we have to communicate. Decentralized or decentral does not always just mean Bitcoin. That's a little bit, short and side. Most impressive thing I think we can use in the metaverse as a business opportunity, as an opportunity for our life is, it is immersive. Whether you use a VR headset, like the people not in the live stream, hi to the live stream, like the people here in the room do, if you use an AR class, if you use your smartphone or your laptop or whatever, you have another way of interacting. The immersive thought of virtual reality is so great. VR is and still will be an ego medium. Because when we're here, when we're experiencing stuff like this talk, like a travel, like XBeats, there is another way of talking to each other. Just imagine how immersive the world can be. If you're planning a trip to, let's say, you're planning a trip to Scotland. If you read a newspaper article about Scotland, you go to your family, to your friends, and say, hey, I read an article about Scotland. If you hear a podcast about, you go to your friends and say, hey, I heard a podcast about Scotland. The wonderful thing studies show is if you experience Scotland here in the metaverse, in a virtual environment, you go to your friends, families, and tell them, I was in Scotland. That's the ego medium we need to have. That's the chance that the immersive environment gives us. And we can change our world. In virtual reality, and later on in the metaverse, we can be everyone. The copyrights and the licenses really work out as planned. You can be Spider-Man. You can be Iron Man. You can be everyone you want to be. And experience stuff in the ego way. You wear. And one thing companies must understand if they want to start in the metaverse is it's still a virtual economy. Metaverse participants like you can engage in a decentralized economy. By virtual clothing, or by event tickets. NFTs, and we're going to talk about it more later on, are just more than art we can hang in our virtual chateaus. again, it's the translation of the real world into our metaverse economy. That does not need to be a CryptoPunk. But the most important thing we're experiencing right now is the metaverse. And that's the thing the people out there must experience as well. It's a social experience. It's something we can experience every day. We can meet, we can swim, we can talk, can go to a club, can listen to a DJ, listen to a talk, we can engage, we can travel. That's a wonderful chance. Right here in Art. But what to do now? With these rules in mind, we come back to gamification. Because gamification can make it a little bit more tangible. We can use it for everything. Because let's think of that. For example, if we combine the parts we were talking about, NFT, Metaverse, Web3, you can, for example, buy a digital item for your character, bring it to other virtual environments. That's a basic thing we can imagine in the Metaverse. We know that in a more direct way from movies like Ready Player One, where you can buy everything, you know, from video games, from the Giant of Space, from the DeLorean, from Back to the Future, from the Holy Grenade from Worms. There was everything you can buy for your avatar. But that's not so far away from the possibilities in the metaverse we're experiencing at the moment. That's a good thing. But what we can learn from gaming when we're talking about buying stuff for our avatars in the metaverse is we can have a look how they have a payment system. If gaming can do anything right, it's getting people who bought the game spend more money to get more stuff for the game they just spent $70 on. That's a thing gamification teaches us. And that we can adapt for the metaverse. For example, the bundles, the packages you can buy in games. If you have a look at that in the background now, it's a little bit, it's a big jump. You can have for 100 pounds, 1,000 coins, whatever that means. You experience two things in gaming we can use for the metaverse as well. Number one, we have freemium in action. The most basic stuff this year is for free. We don't have to pay for it. But if we want to be better, if we want to experience more, then we can buy stuff. And the way of defining the prices in gaming is quite interesting. And every business, every person, everyone with a business model can learn something from that. Because, again, let's have a look at it. The jump isn't that big, but you get so much more if you buy the bigger bundle than the smaller one. And something psychological happens in our head then. The price jump, the big price jump, and we buy the medium and think we're the closest, coolest, best. That does something unique to our mind. That does something that's good for us people. We feel superior. Yeah, I was so clever. I just bought the middle package and that was so good. Now I have the chance to be a leader in this game. And I'm so good at the moment. We feel superior. We feel very, very clever. We feel quite smart at the moment. If we think, okay, we tricked the gaming company. That's a wonderful chance. The stupid people just did not realize what they gave me. Of course they did. But what we also experience, and that's a thing, metaverse, be it here, be it in Decentraland, be it in Sandbox, be it in everything I ever experienced, has to do more. We need to add value. Experience is wonderful, but we need to have something the people say, that was quite nice. That was so cool. I need to do that. I need to have more of that. That was just the thing I needed. We can see that in action, gamification in action, but, for example, in logistics centers. where you have with smart classes, with smart windows, information in it, where the employees in the centers just compete with each other, with the fastest in the task, who can do that better than the others. They are living it and they are loving it. Because a little bit of friendly competition never hurted anyone. But that's the thing we can add to the metaverse as well. Why not do that? Why not have a look what the smartest games show us? Why not have the metaverse designed to let the users decide how much the experience is worth to them each time they decide to join the metaverse? We're doing it in our real life as well. We decide every day, do I want to eat that or do I want to eat that? Is this thing really $20 worth or do I need the $2 and it's okay for me? That's the thing we can adapt for the metaverse also, and where we can learn from the gaming world as well. On the market research out there, on the price recommendations in the world are nothing compared to let your users in the metaverse determine the value of the experience. We can do that. We are able to do that. We are mostly adults. So it's wonderful. So why not take the gaming experience to a next level and introduce points, rewards, prizes to metaverse to engage in lifelong learning? Because learning is fun if I get something back for it. To engage those gamification elements in the work 4.0. To have added value in the metaverse that's so much needed. It's more than game. If your products, your offerings, your services provide real value, real benefits, you will find over time that your best customers will actually pay for more. That's in the metaverse a wonderful chance most companies did not do. Because not many companies, besides from the big ones, are really active in their areas. And this is where it gets interesting. We're at several points now. Because the components, we talked about it in the beginning, are now growing together. Now we have the user interest. Because we have a virtual world. We have the metaverse. With all its decentralized thing, with the immersion, with everything. And we have the willingness to buy stuff. That's a good thing. But what now? What can we do if the people now say, okay, I want to buy that stuff. I want to have real experience in the metaverse. To make that metaverse, the next generation of the internet, really a reality, we need to craft the trace of another trend. We need to craft the trace of another change. We need to talk a little bit about the trend of the NFT. But what's behind it? Give me a signal with a little emotion. Did any one of you buy any NFT? Some of you did. Does anyone not know what an NFT is? Okay, and I can fast forward that then. As a little refresher, because learning is repeating, the non-fungible tokens, NFTs, have a thing in the text in the environment for the last months. Fashion trends like Havanias, Gentle Monsters, Remover, VIPs, everyone, to be honest, came in this area. You could buy everything. You could buy your sandals in a virtual world. You could buy a picture of your sandal in an NFT art. You could buy apes, kittens, whatever you want. You even can buy a yacht for 572,000 euro. That's quite a lot for a yacht. You can't even have a yacht party on. But okay, you can have a yacht. And anyone, and I see some of you have dealt with it, everyone who dealt a little with the topic of blockchain in the recent years will have heard of the token. We have several stuff here in the combination. We have the non-fungible token, we have tokens in the overall process. And tokens note ownership of an asset. So For example, a Bitcoin is in one's wallet. It is identified with that person. If I give it to another one, it says no. Okay, so far so good. It's quite unique. It gives a lot of safety back to the people. Now let's have another look at the other term in the NFT. We talk about non-fungible. Fungible in the classic sense is an exchange. So for example, I exchange cash for a product. I exchange money for products. I give you sugar, you give me milk because you're a good neighbor. You know what I mean. It's a barter deal. But NFT are different. It's non-fungible. They're unique assets that are not easily exchangeable. You get it? It's yours. And until recently, this was mainly limited to the NFTs were mainly limited to pixelated graphics like CryptoKitties, CryptoPunks, you know them. But the normal people, and we're back here where we talked about the metaverse as well, they did not understand what to do with it. They bought a yacht, okay. They bought digital land, okay. They bought an ape. I don't understand. I can right-click and save it. But in the last time, like with the crash of the crypto, came a new possibility for the NFT. We nowadays reach a broader audience because we have new stuff to do. It's a little bit like the collectors of sneakers do, the sneakerheads. Let's try to explain it with that. Sneakerhead is a collector of sneakers. You have quite unique stuff you're having, and that's yours. They have a certain value, and then will increase or hopefully not decrease in value over time. And that's what we're doing with the NFT as well. We have something unique to us. That's ours. And we're proud to own it. We're proud to have it. This is the case with NFT. It is known how many of the products are there. There's only one Bored Ape number 10, for example. And through the blockchain, you know exactly who owns what stuff. And that's a wonderful chance for businesses, ladies and gentlemen. You can own products like in the real world. Maybe you have a tailored suit. Maybe you have sneakers you just own. Those are yours. Nike, for example, recently bought an NFT company just to have their own sneakers in the virtual world. That shows how really important this trend may be for the future. And owning an NFT allows anyone to resell it. For example, you own a wonderful vest like this one. Now I want to give it to someone else, so I can resell it. You can do that with your NFT as well. But again, if you want to explain this stuff to the people out there, that's the way to do it. Explain it with normal stuff they know from the real world. Translate it over. And if we have a look again in to the enterprise world, NFTs can be a nice extension for existing products. Everything you own, everything you sell can be an NFT as well, and in the metaverse can be accessible. It, for example, something like you have in your closet, have a wonderful jacket in your closet, you like to wear it in real life, and you want to have your avatar wear it as well. That's one thing. But if you go a little bit deeper, if you go beyond the digital copies of clothes, then really engage with a seamless digital link between digital and real world. Imagine, for example, you have a digital twin. You have a factory. You want to try out if the robot moves good in it or not. At the moment, many big companies like BMW, Audi, all the big people out there are using digital twins as well. The digital clone of the real world. But they're not really part of it. They experience it a little bit like you experience a game from above. Look at it and say, okay, the robot has to go left, okay, the metaverse, and with the chance of digital copies that are always yours, that are binded to you by the NFT, you can experience every industry hall, every company, every process like it's you. That's a wonderful chance to not give out so much money, to have wonderful optimized processes, and to get away a little bit cheaper and more innovative. Combined with Metaverse, we have one more building block to guide us into the future. And maybe, just maybe, some of you, I don't know what you're doing for a living, some of you may ask, okay, what should I do now? Should I move everything I have into the metaverse? Should I launch own NFT products, own NFT machines? Should I build up own environments? What the heck should I do now? How do I start? You have to think if there's a real needing for your profession at the moment in the metaverse. One profession group, one job group that's really big in here are therapists, are psychologists. And I understand why. It's a wonderful area where people all over the world can have this social get-together. But what about you? Maybe you're a banker. Maybe you're a consultant, a coach, a trainer. Maybe you're a fitness coach. How can you start in this virtual world? And can you bring an added value right now? And the added value is exactly that. And if you keep anything from the talk today, is one thing. Distinguish between trend and trendy. There are so much trends out there. You hear on talks like that, like NFT, Web3, and so on and so on. But does it really fit to you, your company, your profession? Or is it just quite trendy at the moment to follow that? Look for the added value. And then the people, the broad audience will follow. So take your first steps. Look if you can have a profession here. If you can translate your profession over to the metaverse. Today is, I'm a speaker normally. Today is my first time I'm speaking here on a metaverse stage. It's strange. And I try to wave around my arms as I do always. But it's a different kind of stuff. And I will learn, I will get better. Maybe it's not the time for my profession. Oh, maybe it is. I'm not sure about it, to be honest. But I will find out if I do it again and again and again. So doing the first step, going over your comfort zone is quite interesting. And you're doing it right here. You could be in a conference hall. You could be in a Zoom meeting. We could do this in WebEx or Teams or whatever. But we're doing it here. And that's cool. That shows us that we can try out, that we can try new stuff. That's so wonderful that we can do it here at the X-Night. All you need for your first steps, for getting a glimpse of the traces of change, is the willingness to start. Not just to listen, to be active. That's the first thing. The other thing, we must learn together. Let's be honest, it's quite a new world for us all. You may be experienced here a little bit more or not. You may have visited other worlds or not. I'm not sure and I don't know. But we can all learn from each other. We can have a look what works and what does not work. What experiences do we need and what are too much? When is immersion too much immersion? But that's the idea of the Web3. That's the idea where the next generation of the internet is coming to. It's not one platform. It's not one thing. It's all of us creating a digital environment together. It's the decentral internet of tomorrow. And that's what we have to do as well. So identify the traces of change. Go forward. Try to find your place in the metaverse, the NFT, and the free. And let's shape the world of tomorrow together. And we can do it. We can be shapers. It's in our hands to make this vision not everyone out there can grasp a reality. Real reality. Where everyone out there, from your grandpa to everyone else, can say, I understand it. I want to be there. I can see my grandkids. Let's do that. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed it.
All right, okay, let me get my amplify my voice. There we go. I'm amplified. Thank you so much. That was a great talk. Thank you. I've put the audience participation on. So if anyone has any questions, now's the time to hit that hand raise button, which you should be able to see down to your right. Thanks again for that talk. It was perfect time for me hearing that talk as well. As I say, every one of the speakers who comes up here has something that's really relevant for me at a specific time in my life as well. So it's good. I've get the future for the sort of digital thing of reality, right? And I think it gets to that point where you kind of come a bit disheartened a little bit sometimes by what's happening in certain spaces.
It's terrible, to be honest. We get so fast comfortable in the thing we have, and then think, okay, it's fine. We have this wonderful event stage. We can do that forever, but then forever's over. So this redefining, that's why I brought in the gaming industry as well. It's something we can learn from Nintendo, really. If you have a look at the products, they're destroying themselves every time. And they have one motto I really love. I really love. They say they always want to reach the non-customer. That means they don't care about, it sounds eviler than it is, they don't care about you because they know you will come back. They want to have the people who are not customers right now. They want to engage with them. They want to motivate them. And that's a thing. That's a kind of bravery every company can learn of. I'm from Munich. To be honest, I'm missing that in Germany. We have the wonderful German angst that I really hate, because every change is terrible, and you're afraid of, and there is nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
What do you lose?
Yeah, definitely. I think I definitely agree with what you're saying, and I think a lot of people in this space, or people who have been in sort of metaverse spaces for a while, kind of probably get that feeling of being as an existing customer or member of the community, that feeling of like, okay, well, we've got you now, so like we're not really interested in maintaining that. We're trying to look for, we want X amount of people in here, and the only way we do that is we go out fishing for more people. So I think a lot of people recognize with that. Also, the culmination of all these different technologies right now, NFTs, crypto, again, that paints that future vision and picture. And I think I overheard, SWB, sorry, I know you're muted, so you can't speak, but I think you were talking earlier. I think I overheard you saying something about e-commerce and the idea of sort of e-commerce not existing in this space yet, in alt space. And obviously it exists in other platforms that are out there, but it's in alt space specifically. It's one of those things that people are kind of waiting for. I have friends that are sort of a friend of mine who's a virtual reality world builder like myself, who's creating a shopping mall in here. And it's, it's that idea of like, to remove the friction though, you really need the features in here that enable people to sort of have one-click shop purchases in here. So, and that's currently not here. But yeah,
especially in virtual reality or in the metaverse, how we call it now, the term will change as well. Again, I already know that it will be, well, whatever. One thing we need to learn, especially that's a learning I had from a Munich company that got bought up by Apple several years ago. They were also building the next immersive reality, and they had one problem. They engaged and they made it better and better, and it got even better, and the shadow was great and everything was great, but they never catch the eye of the broad people out there, the broad audience, and that was a big problem. Because of course you can do it, you can always make it better, but no one will understand it if they don't get the starting point. And I think in the metaverse or NFT or everything, Web3 as well, you need to have one starting point that, I don't want to call it a killer application, but that's one thing everyone out there understands, like with the smartphone in the past, and says, okay, that's good. I understand that. That makes sense. It's not just for gaming. It's not just for the French people who want to wear headsets who are very sturdy. It's for everyone. And I think we must go there. We will come to that point eventually.
Yeah,
hopefully.
definitely. Yeah, for sure. I can see it. Yeah, hopefully that's the dream anyway. I've had no one put their hands up. Don't be shy if anyone has any questions. But if not, we can always just sort of unmute everyone and people can sort of
If you
mingle
have
around. And
questions later on, you always can find me on every platform out there, LinkedIn, or write me a mail if you're shy.
yeah,
Then
let me get out the way.
everything's
Actually,
fine.
there you go. You can so people
Oh,
can
I
see your
go,
name there
I
as
go
well.
out of the way as well. That's my name.
Uh,
I'm Alex. Hi.
yeah, cool. So
if you
what I'll
need
do is,
anything, just yeah.
yeah, I'll let me turn off the hand raise feature and I'll unmute everyone and then I'll turn the stage blocker on. So if anyone has any questions for Alexander or myself or anyone else, just feel free to mingle. Let me turn that off. Right, everyone can speak now. There we go. And stage blockers off. Cool. I'll turn my megaphone off. Oh, and remember everyone, X Beats. If you see up on the sign behind you, X Beats is going to be in an hour's time. I'm not going to say it in BST because I'm sure. How many people in here are from England? Let's see if there's anyone else from England in here. Oh, we've got one hand raised at the back. Okay, cool. So I can set in BST for you. So 9 p.m. BST. So in an hour's time, just under an hour, Natasha will be DJing at X Beats, and you should see that in the events calendar. So if you want to come along and party, come along. I recommend it. You'll hear people running out of breath while dancing in their Oculus Quest headset.
I try to mention it as often as I can that people know there's an X beat. So
Yeah, yeah, no, it's good. No, I heard you mention it. Just reminding peeps. And yeah, I'll stop shouting my voice now. There we go. Right.
I'll do the same. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful time. If you have any questions, I'm here a little bit more. Will I go? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That was great. As I said, it's good. It's kind of a re-energizer for looking at the future.